You won an Emmy as a director for your short film Bully.
It's right here, bro.
I was just gonna ask. I was gonna ask you where do you keep your Emmy?
No, I keep it right here with me, man. I'm an open-minded person. I don't like being close-minded, but then it gets to a point where you actually have to be the one that takes the decisions, and you have to stick with your vision.
Do you think that having less equipment is better for creativity?
Definitely. It's gonna activate all of your feelings. If you have an idea, you have to bring it to life right away. Otherwise, it's just gonna go and take form in somebody else's mind.
I saw Richard Branson on one of your pin posts, and I was like, "Dang, that's crazy."
That's the craziest one. And I was like, man, I wish I could be part of that, but I'm not creative at all, and I'm also not gonna be able to make a living out of this because that's where, at least the family where I grew up, that's what they think. Don't let anybody else tell you that your work is bad, but people cannot believe in you more than you. Try to think most of the time like, I'm doing this for me, not for everybody else, not for Instagram, not for the algorithm. So just post it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst that could happen? It was a mission, but it turned out great.
Dude, this is my favorite shot, I think.
You're the first person to tell me that, so thank you.
Dude, I love it. Thank you guys for coming to episode 3. If you guys made it this far, I appreciate it. Anyone who's watching or listening, sorry, or I guess watching too on Spotify, I'm uploading all the episodes there, so if that's more your thing, please check it out. I just want to say thank you to you guys for watching and all the guests. Alejandro, I appreciate you so much for jumping on. He was actually one of the earliest supporters of what I was doing over on Instagram and TikTok. I covered one of his videos and he reached out, said thanks, so we kind of kept in touch, and he's just been supporting ever since. So please, if you guys can, I would love for you guys to go support him. Check out his YouTube. He's doing a lot more on there, and then his Instagram, all that stuff, his website. Check it out. All right, let's get into it. You gotta tell me about this Emmy, cause I'm combing through your stuff and I'm like looking at your videos and I see, and then obviously in your bio you have it. You won an Emmy as a director for your short film Bully.
It's a 10-minute documentary. It's a short form, and it's creating awareness of bullying, because there was a time in bullying has always been a big deal, especially in America, in the entire world, but also in America. And then 3 or 4 years ago, when there was like a mass amount of people immigrating to the States, Hispanic people, it started like becoming more normal. So a lot of those videos were going on social media of these kids being bullied. Some of them killed themselves. Me and 5 other people, we got together. We wrote the story. We invited some of the parents, victims, and then some doctors too, talking about the topic. And then we put all that together. After it aired, we submitted it to the Emmys. We got nominated. Just the fact of being nominated, we're like, okay, we made it. This is huge. And then when we go to the actual awards night, we had 5 nominations, which was crazy, and we only won one, and it was for the director. The directing, which is crazy because the easiest nominations went first, and since we didn't win on those ones, we were like, okay, that's it. We didn't win the easiest, like the more general ones where we had more opportunities. And I was like, okay, the directing award, of course I'm not gonna get it. That's like a big deal, and then that's the only one we took home. And then when they called on my name, I'm like, what is going on? I went speechless. I had like something like a little prepared, and then when I got on stage, I remember just staying blank for like 5 seconds, just like, I want to thank the team.
It's like you're not prepared. You're not prepared.
Yeah,
Like,
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared.
Especially because even if it's your first, like it's your first time and you weren't even expecting it, man. Yeah. When you're talking about it, I feel nervous just listening to it, because I remember even watching the video of you getting up and you're like,
oh, you've seen, yeah, because I have it on my stories.
Yeah, you have it on your stories. I was like going through all your content just to make sure, and yeah, and then like I was like,
you can
dang.
see my face. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, and then you just got up. You got up quick, and I was like, oh man.
And it's right here, bro.
I was just gonna ask. I was gonna ask you. I was like, one of the questions is, where do you keep your Emmy? And I watched your video yesterday, and I saw it on the back desk, and I was like, I gotta ask.
No, I keep it right here with me, man.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
insane. Congrats. I know it was a couple of years, 2 years ago, but man, congrats.
Yeah.
I would be carrying that thing around to shoots. It would be magic arm on my camera while I'm shooting. Like it would be everywhere, man. I'm surprised.
It would
Oh.
just be on the one pelican for the gear and then another pelican for the Emmy.
In terms of the directing part, what's the hardest thing about being a director?
I feel like the hardest part, so now that I've been working more on campaigns where I actually have a crew of at least 5 people. Because before it used to be like I will call myself a director, but then the project it would only be me, and then I would probably be shooting it too, and then I would just have somebody working on the lights and the makeup artist. That's it. That's the crew. But now it's like okay, now I have the producer, now I have somebody as a gaffer, now I have the grip, now I have audio, and now I have the makeup artist and the talent, and it's like it's getting like bigger and bigger. I feel like the hardest part is just talking to all the departments and then giving them the vision that you have. The vision, it's in your head. Just selling them or just telling them basically air because there's no way you can actually show them until the video or the production is actually done and out and then they can actually see it and then be like, oh, that's what you meant, or oh, that's what you wanted to do, or this is the transition that you wanted to do, or all of that. So communicating with all the departments, and then before, or I still do, I like to take recommendations by everybody. I'm an open-minded person. I don't like being close-minded, but then it gets to a point where you actually have to be the one that takes the decisions and you have to stick with your vision. Yes, you can still take recommendations, but you don't have to change whatever you had in mind just because that other person tells you like, hey, what if we do this? You can be politely tell them like, this is great, we can try it, but let me do my version first. So I feel like that's one of the hardest parts. And when I see these directors that they do productions with, I don't know, 100 plus people, I'm like, how do they do it? Especially with visual effects and all of that. It's like that doesn't even exist. Like, how would you imagine a car just exploding? And like I'm talking about Hollywood movies, but it's like insane. Hopefully, I'll get even to just to be on state on set as a PA. I don't care, but just to be on set as a PA of a big movie, maybe like a Marvel movie, that's gonna be
The
an amazing.
experience is crazy when
Yeah,
you like that levels you up so fast. Even just being around
yeah.
that atmosphere. Like I'll get coffee. Who wants coffee?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll
I'll
get
I'll get
everybody
coffee
coffee.
for
You
the
don't have to.
PA. Like
Yeah,
I'm not. Yeah, you want it
you don't
sweet?
have
You
to
want? Is
pay
this
me. I'll
dirty?
pay.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
pay for the coffee. You don't have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pay me.
How much? 150 people?
Yeah,
Is that the direction you want to go in? Do you want to get to feature films of that size? Is that your goal?
I would love to get on feature of that size, but the specific genre I would like to get on is drama and stuff like that. Have you seen the movie Past Lives?
As one of my notes, okay, so I haven't. I was gonna watch it, but
Okay.
I was definitely that's one of the things that I was gonna ask you about, especially because I know you used it was like an excerpt from it with one of your videos that
Yeah.
was just beautiful. So can you tell me just a brief understanding of what that movie is, and then why you brought it up? Like why is that style the style that you want to kind of create?
I won't spoil it. I will give you just like a little bit of a little details of it. That style that I really want to go for, it's I guess I've gotten it through classical music. I just I've been falling in love with it the past probably like 3 4 years with classical music. And there's a few directors that I've seen their work and I've been falling in love with their work. And I feel like I've just taken a little bit of everyone, like a remix of a few directors' idea, and then with that, I've been able to like start creating my own style with like static shots, very minimal movement, but then a lot of stuff happening within the frame, some slow music in the background, kind of like have. Do you know Danny Gavertz?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
do.
Danny Devert's one amazing filmmaker. He just released his feature film. I love his work. He really inspires me a lot. One of my first shorts for my Instagram, it was inspired by him. So that's the style I would really like to go for, like more slower, kind of like the movie. There's another movie called Minari. Minari, yeah, that's another movie that I would really love to go for. And why I did that video for Past Life. So that movie is insane. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry. It's gonna activate all of your feelings within that movie. And the ending is so, you gotta watch it.
I'm gonna
It's
watch
also,
it.
it's based on this Korean family, so it starts in Korea, which is why I was like,
Perfect.
I
Yeah.
actually went to one of the spots where they filmed some of the scenes, which was crazy. One of the museums, and I saw the sculptures on it. I'm like, I'm flipping out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an indie film vibe. So that's the feature films that I would really love to go for. That has an amazing story, great storytelling, and the compositions are great, but it's not like a sci-fi movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's a
that's the
lot.
genre I would love to go for.
It feels like a lot more slower paced,
Yes.
right? You think that's also why maybe you fell in love with going to those countries where it is, because North America is so fast. It's
Yeah.
like you don't even have time to breathe. You can't even be grateful for some of the things that you have. But I feel like some of the culture there very slow paced, like
Yeah.
just living and like taking it all in. So that's cool, man. That you wanna get into specifically that type of genre, or at least for now, get into
Yeah,
that.
at least for now. So that's the style I've been also wanting to give to my Instagram. If you see my videos, it's kind
Yeah,
of like that, kind of like a short storytelling, or you know,
postcards.
yeah, some shots with intention, you know, where I have like a little sequence, or like a little, very little story or something. That's what I want to give to my videos. And then I've been trying to get more into YouTube. I made a video in Korea. It's an 8-minute film.
That's your latest one, no?
Yeah, that's the latest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just posted it like 2 days ago. I'm trying to focus more on YouTube because I'm able to do longer format.
I
You know?
love it. I love it. I think you should. I think all creators should do longer format
Yeah,
stuff. Especially it's that whole slow live. It feels like that. Cuz
yeah,
on Instagram it's quick. It's great to like kind
yeah.
of showcase your work and stuff. But when I jump on YouTube and I see like all this stuff, Andrew stuff, your stuff, it's like it's just nice to have a long form video of just, you guys traveling or whatever, looking
I
at
love
different
Andrew's
shots.
work, man. He's amazing. He's
Yeah.
killing.
When you're traveling, are you always in this creative mindset? Are you always looking, okay, colors, lines, like, you know what I mean? Is that how you just see the world?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes yes, but sometimes it's, I'm not gonna say annoying, but it's like I'm just here for vacation, and now it might, I don't want to let it become work, you know? Because it's like, if I get out of the hotel without my camera, I'm gonna be like, man, the sun is looking so great, and oh wow, look at those lines. That guy just standing there in the middle of those two doors. That car just passing by. The car was aesthetic or whatever. And then I'm most of the time I'm traveling with my wife too, and then she's like, "Are you gonna film everything? are you are you gonna take a break, or are you just gonna be filming everything?" And it's like, I don't want to say it became like a disease or something, but anytime I see a shadow or whatever, I just want to shoot it.
Yeah.
Literally, even if I'm not gonna use it, I'm just like, okay, I want to capture that, and I try to do it with video. I had my Fujifilm with me, but I just end up not using it because if I end up having two cameras with me, I'm just not gonna do anything. So I just left the Fujifilm at the hotel, and then I went out with my video camera, and I focus on video because I'm gonna want to shoot everything, literally everything, restaurants, people, cars, inside the ride in the bus, ride in the train. Everything looks so cool in life
Yeah.
in general.
Especially when you work with people, especially your wife, it's like, sometimes you think like, should I just be more in the moment right now?
Yeah.
In the moment. But then you also get this thing where you look back at this footage, and you
Yeah.
mentioned it in one of your videos. When you look back at it and your grandkids or your kids, or like in 100 years, like if someone sees it, it's gonna be cool to look at. I don't record as much as I used to, but now that I look back at some of the stuff I did record, family parties, like just the small things,
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm so happy I did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know that it's tough when you go out and you kind of just always want to record stuff. Do you think that having less equipment is better for creativity, especially because it creates like boundaries?
Definitely. I would say the less equipment you bring, the more productive you're going to be. I'm a solo shooter, and I don't have like an assistant camera to be swapping lenses or the ND filters. It's just going to be myself filming. And most of the time, I'm also going to be in front of the camera. So all I bring to my travels is one. I mean, I bring two or three lenses, but I left them at the hotel. And then I have one lens with me the entire day. And that one is the 24 to 105 f4. And that's the one I use, I would say, 85% of the time. I have that one with my camera and then with my lightweight tripod. And that's all I use, literally. Like if you want to have more lenses in your backpack, by the time you swap the lens, you're already gonna you lost the moment. That person just walked away, or the car just passed, or the sunset is over. By the time you're finished swapping the lens and putting the ND filter on and all of that, turning the camera on, whatever, that the moments passed.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you're doing stuff like that, like every second counts almost.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
literally. Yeah, every
Especially
second
when you're on the street, you know? So, okay, you work solo.
yeah,
Sometimes you do like a lot of your solo stuff. Then you work in smaller teams, like a skeleton crew,
yeah.
like 3, 5 people. And then you like bigger crews. Do you prefer now, or do you have a preference?
It was hard in the beginning because I would do everything by myself, and then just being with people on set and then being able to delegate your tasks it's actually hard. Especially if you're used to like moving the lights and then doing everything. It's like, oh, now I have to tell this guy to move the lights for me. It's kind of weird, but I feel like you get used to it, and it makes everything faster and smoother because you don't get burnout as fast. Okay, now you can actually focus on the frame and then working with the talent, and that's it. The lighting, it's going to be taken care of by a professional in lighting. The audio is going to be taken care of by professional in audio and all of that. And so I feel like there's some specific stuff that you still need a small crew, and then if you start adding more people, it's going to take way longer. It's going to be like overkill. For instance, I had a job in it was working with food recipes. It was like a 20 people job, 20 people on set. It took an entire day, and then it took like 14. It was overtime. And at the end of the day, I thought I could have just done that with three other people and then finish in 6 hours or something. So sometimes I haven't gotten to that point, and I hope when I get to that point, I can still work with the team, so everything is as fast and as smooth as a 6 people team.
It's important too, like to understand for anyone who's watching gets into this stuff. It's yeah, a bigger team doesn't always mean the most efficient because
Yeah,
also the skill levels. Like sometimes you'll meet people on set, you're like, you've been doing this for 20 plus years, and you're the sound person and you do amazing, but then you have someone else who's only been doing it for a couple of years, and then what projects have they been on, the dynamics. But I think the director is like one of the toughest because you're almost managing everything while
yeah,
making people believe in your vision. Like you
yeah.
know what I mean? You're almost like a manager, but also like you're the inspiration. You're the coach that, okay guys, this is trust me. Trust me right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is I think the toughest. Would you say that's the toughest job that I guess you've done, like being a director?
Yeah, I feel like all the jobs are tough. It's like you are the manager, because even the talent, the everything, you're literally talking to everyone. And for this, you have to at least understand a little bit of lighting, understand a little bit of sound, because how can you tell the lighting person, I need it warmer, or I need this light, whatever, whatever, if you don't even know about it? So you actually have to have knowledge of every single thing, even the actors. Like, I don't need to be an actor, but I need to explain to the actress or the actor, the talent, I need to explain what I want from them in front of the camera. So I actually have to be talking to everybody on set. So it's not the toughest job, because all the jobs are tough. Everybody on set does a great job, but it's definitely one of the most demanding jobs. Like, you actually have to be with your mind clear the entire day, because otherwise you're going to get distracted, and then If anything happens, it's the director's fault. It's not going to be the talent's fault. It's not going to be the gaffer's fault. No, it's going to be the director's, and it's going to fall under him. That's why when a movie's success or whatever, it's the success. They mention a lot the director, because everything went great because of him or because of her.
So it's a lot of to take on, like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just like a lot that could go wrong. Even the actor's performance, like, yeah, you could blame actors, but at the end of the day, it's like, did the director do enough to communicate? This is the
exactly.
feeling that I want from you. This is
Mhm.
the way you need to feel and look, and how you deliver your lines.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's
then the
yeah.
director is the one that said, "Cut, we got it." If you said that, then it's because
You thought it was good. You believed
exactly.
in that we had.
Uh-huh.
If you didn't, you should have done this 78th shot.
Exactly.
You do a lot of commercial work. How do you like doing commercial work? So you've done stuff with Hennessy, you've done stuff with PetSmart. I saw Richard Branson on one of your pin posts, and I was like, dang, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's the craziest one.
That the craziest one, working with
Yeah.
Virgin? Like, because you've done a couple stuff with Virgin,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
I've done a couple of stuff with them. I've worked with them for a little over a year. We've done
Yeah.
like 4, maybe 5 projects already. They're amazing. I love their team. They're super good when like explaining the idea that they want. That one with Richard Branson was the one in Australia. So they were launching the new route in Australia and that part of the world. So they wanted to do like a big activation for that. So that's why they brought an entire crew. They shot some branding. I was part of the paid ads team, and that's
Mm.
basically what I did. For everything was for paid ads. It was a great experience. Of course, I got to travel to Australia, which was my first time, and I also got to meet Richard Branson, he's a really cool guy. I also got to work with a crew, with talents, with photographers. The client was there too, and I feel like the chemistry, it was amazing. I've done music videos. It's not that I don't like doing music videos, but I feel like it's a completely different world. It's like dealing with artists, the managers, or all of that. I feel like it's a complete different vibe, and it's a little bit faster for that's
Yeah.
the world that they live in. I'm guessing with movies and all of that, it might be the same, because now you're dealing with elite actresses, elite actors. But in the campaign shoots, I would say you get a little bit more of freedom, as long as you're under the client's ideas.
Do you think it's like the scale of the project as well? Like music videos, I used to shoot music videos. I don't like doing it. There's just a lot of moving parts, and, like, also, if you're trying to make it a career, it's a really tough if you're just doing music videos. Let's say someone approached you to do a K-pop music video, cuz those videos are insane. And I can only imagine the treatment for it, the production, the creativity is feature film style kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right? Is that something that, like, if you were to do a music video, someone brought to you, would you do something of that scale? Or is it still kind of like,
That would be hard, because I love
yeah,
watching K-pop music videos. I love
wild,
them. They're
yeah,
crazy. You can see they're actually big productions, and even the camera movements. Sometimes they do some stuff that I'm like, how is that not in America yet?
yeah,
Those camera
yeah.
movements. They do a lot of crazy stuff. I feel like I would be overwhelmed by just shooting one of those music videos, and they probably have people that just dedicate their time to shoot those music videos. I'm sure. Like those people, they only do music videos. They
And
don't
it's
do
only K-pop music videos,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's specifically K-pop music video. If you tell them, "Hey, can I do a music video for, I don't know, Kendrick Lamar?" They're gonna say, we don't know how to do that."
yeah, yeah.
It's specifically for K-pop music videos, people dancing, and then yeah.
Yeah, choreography. The choreography
Or
team has to be
uh
the wardrobe. It's like
yeah,
this,
everything.
and like the set design. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
the set design is something that I appreciate from K-pop, because they're not just shooting in locations. It's like a whole stage production.
Yeah.
It's like theater almost.
It's like, yeah, like theater. Yeah, no, no.
Um,
They go crazy on those ones. I'm sure it's a lot of work to work on those ones. I would feel overwhelmed. At least I would tell them, if I'm not the director, I would tell them, can I at least go and get you coffee so I can see so I can see the process.
If anyone's watching this right now, hit up my man. He will get you coffee to be on the
Oh,
set.
please. It'll be
Dude, no.
Starbucks.
Yeah,
It'll be
dude.
Starbucks.
Oh, the expensive stuff.
It's Starbucks, man.
On one of your IG posts, you said a few years back, you were talking about not feeling creative enough. I don't know if you remember this. Why is that? And, or why was that? And after doing all this, do you feel the same still?
That's because I actually, before I started all this, about 5 years ago, I I thought of myself I wasn't creative at all. I was in college doing a civil engineer major, which has nothing to do with this. And my wife now, girlfriend at the time, she was getting her major in advertising, but in an art school because she wanted to be part more of the artsy part of advertising. And the art school where she was getting, they had like cinematography and all of those classes, all of those majors. And I saw that and I was like, man, I wish I could be part of that, but I'm not creative at all. And I'm also not going to be able to make a living out of this because that's where, at least the family where I grew up, that's what they think. That's coming from parents where they think either you have to be a doctor or a civil engineer or one of those very common majors that if not, you're not going to be successful. So I always thought that until I got into school, my girlfriend at the time, wife now, she had a camera. I didn't know anything. I had the settings on auto. I would only tell her like, how do I make the background blurry? I kind of like that,
Yeah, yeah,
those.
yeah. The basics. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those very basics. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what f-stop was, whatever. So she's the one that lent me my first camera. She let me borrow it. I joined an association and then I met a few creative people, and that's when I started like getting a little bit more acquainted with everything after I learned a little bit, because I actually wanted to at least have it as a hobby, because I saw all those people around me doing cool stuff. It was cool stuff at the time. I started learning more by myself, asking a lot of questions. I wanted to do everything because I wanted to know how to use the camera. So after I got my first camera, I had the opportunity to make a video with an influencer in Miami. And after that first video, I got a lot of great feedback. And I was like, nice, maybe I'm not that bad at it. Maybe I'm not the worst. Maybe I just have to practice more. And then as I kept just like making more and more stuff, people kept telling me like, hey, you have a different eye. I actually have, I like what you do. It looks different from these other people, or you're actually really good. You should keep doing it. And then I just kept learning, improving, seeing all my errors, and then learning from them. So I used the Emmy. I just have it here in the studio because I want to remind myself like your work is actually good. Don't let anybody else tell you that your work is bad, but people cannot believe in you more than you. Like, actually, I have to believe in myself. You cannot believe in me if I don't believe in myself. That's basically why I have the Emmy in here, because every time I'm editing a video and I feel burnout, or if I'm sending an estimate or whatever, I just look at the Emmy and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. I just kick the imposter syndrome out, because I still get that. And that's how I try to, that's how I keep going. So I don't think of it, but I still have the imposter syndrome every day.
That's
Yeah.
crazy that you still get that. Even so accomplished. And you know what? I don't think it's uncommon. I feel like top of the, the top cinematographers, directors, editors, Foley artists, like all these people still probably feel like that. Like, how did I
Yeah.
get here? Did I fool everyone? You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what it is, right? You're like, am I even good? Or just
Yeah.
people, yeah.
How much coffee did I get?
Yeah.
Did
Did
I
I
just get
miss? Did I get
Yeah.
the wrong order? Yeah.
Yeah.
You still always feel creative. It's just the imposter syndrome
Yeah.
that really gets you.
It's the imposter syndrome. But anytime I want to post something, before I do it, I'm like, I'm doing this for me, or I try to remind to myself like, I'm doing this for me, and that's the whole reason why I started doing this. Working in here, like working with the camera, filming myself when I travel. I started doing all of this because I like doing it and I enjoyed it, and that's what I think. Try to think most of the time. Like, I'm doing this for me. not for everybody else, not for Instagram, not for the algorithm. So just post it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst that could happen? Then after that, I have the opportunity to get good feedback from people, and then I'm like, see, that's it. I had to post it. What's the worst that could have happened?
It's like a
Nothing.
missed opportunity you could have, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
And like even if it's not for anything, it's like it's for practice. It's to get better, to
Exactly.
make
Yeah.
mistakes. Is video your Ikigai? Video creation?
Yeah. Yeah. I try to take photos. I even have the Fuji that I mentioned, but I just videos like motion. That's what I love. Motion pictures. I feel like it's alive. Anytime I try to take a photo, I'm like, that could look a lot better in video.
Mm.
With motion, with a subject passing by, or just a bird. That's it. That's why
Yeah.
I love the video postcards that went viral. Is because it's something that you're capturing that's never gonna happen again. If a person passes by, that person is never gonna pass by that same frame ever again. So you own that moment. So it's like those little moments, 10 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever. It's like for me are way more special than just one frame.
Damn. That was so good. That was so good. I always think of it as like motion and emotion is like the two.
Nice.
Those are the two, right? That's why I
Yeah.
love video. It's like capturing both.
I wanted to mention yeah, man, for all the creators out there that are starting, if you go for it, like of course we can dream big, but we can also have to make stuff happen.
Yeah, action. You just like you really got to take action.
Seeing all these creatives in on Instagram, it just there's a thin line between getting inspired and getting overwhelmed or burnout, you know. Because if you go and you watch for hours and hours and then you're just consuming that videos and it's not bringing you any inspiration or it's not pushing you to start creating, it's just you're just consuming that content, right? You're just getting content into your brain. If you do that, then you're gonna stay there. Unfortunately, it's not you're not gonna be able to create some stuff for yourself because you're never gonna go past that inspiration, or you're gonna get that inspiration, but then as soon as you close your phone, then the inspiration is gone. So what I try to do is first I try not to use Instagram that much because it's addictive. So when I use it, I see a video that I like and I get inspired, I shut my phone off, I write the idea, and then I just try to make the idea come to life. Because something really interesting that I read in a book, have you read the Creative Act?
No.
Well, there's this amazing line where it says like if you think of something and then you don't bring it to life and then a few days later you see that another creator brought it to life, it's not because that creator stole your idea, but because that idea it just you didn't bring it to life at the moment and then the idea just went through another person. So basically, if you have an idea, you have to bring it to life right away. Otherwise, it's just gonna go and take form in somebody else's mind.
Wow.
So that's something that I read and it blew my mind. I'm like, anytime I think of something, I have to go for it. It's easier said than done, like you said, but that's where the commitment and the discipline comes. It's the
Yeah.
same thing as going to the gym.
Repetition, right?
Yeah, repetition. If you have the discipline to go to the gym, then you're gonna
Wow.
get bigger.
And that's the thing. You're not always gonna get the same results. I think people think like every workout is gonna be great, but it's like there's some workouts that absolutely you don't hit your PR. You don't. You're just kind of there, but you showed up.
Yeah, you
You
showed
you
up, you
you
learned
showed
something.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and at least you're gonna learn one thing.
Yeah. And if it's not anything else, it's you made it to the gym. Like you brought yourself physically,
Yeah.
and now mentally you're checked in. Right now we're gonna get into the video breakdowns, but I did want to say thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for making it this far. And if you guys are enjoying this, please like and subscribe, and then show Alejandro some love on all his socials. All right, let's get into it.
There's a word in Korean, inyeon. It means providence or fate.
Do you believe in that?
That's just something Koreans say to seduce someone. If two strangers walk by each other in the street and their clothes accidentally brush, that means there have been 8,000 layers of inyeon. between them.
Want you to stay. Want you to stay.
When you go there, do you have this audio because you've watched the film? Do you go thinking, okay, I know what video I'm making, and then you have some of these shots set?
I had the idea that I wanted to use that line, like "There's a word in Korean." That's the famous line from that movie. I actually recreated some of the shots from the movie. That first one, that sculpture, one of the scenes that I told you that aren't in the movie with that
Mhm.
sculpture is not the same shot, but I definitely wanted to use that, because anybody that's seen it right away, they're gonna recognize that that's from the movie. Some of the shots I kind of like recreated it as I could, because I was DP, I was acting, I was grip, lighting, set designer, everything. So I did the best I could. I kind of had an idea of how I wanted things to move in the video and how slow I wanted the video before I started filming it. When I was on my way to Korea, I already knew that I wanted to post this without audio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your mind must have been like you knew exactly what shots. You knew
Yeah.
how the feeling, the movement, like
Yeah.
what.
Even some
Yeah.
of the shots, I remember telling my wife, like, this would be a great shot for that in young video, because I had that in mind, that I really really wanted to do that video. And it's like I'm in South Korea where the movie was born, I would say. Like, it's not like I'm coming back next week. I definitely have to do this.
The amount of intention behind it, because like
Mhm.
sometimes people just travel, you grab whatever shots, and you've probably done this
Yeah.
before, and then you just like you whip it together. But there's something about planning it I think it just makes it so much better. Okay, here.
Hmm.
So like stuff with the lighting, just in general. Did
Yeah.
you get to this spot and where you like look creative eye? You're like, this spot right here is gonna look amazing. Or were you guys sitting here and this so happened to just look this great?
The first thing that I gotta say, that's actually a Starbucks, which is crazy. That's
For
a Star-
real?
yeah, that's a Starbucks. That's how great American brands are outside of America. When we got there, we were planning to go to that Starbucks because it's one of the most famous one, because it looks like a little village. And then when we grabbed all the food, she tells me, "Where do you want to sit?" And then she instantly knew that I wanted to film something, so she was like, "We have that option or that other option, like that one by the window, and then another one." But then I saw that this one in the corner, because there were like three available ones, and then this one in the corner, it had like that little ray sun
Yeah. Like right here.
yeah, like that light. It was like 5 p.m. or something like that, so the sun was already a little low. And I was like, okay, we got to shoot it in this corner, because other than that, it's going to be underexposed inside and then overexposed outside.
Outside.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the perfect window. I wanted to move the table to the middle of the window. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, so you don't get this.
Yes, but the
Yeah.
table you couldn't move it.
It was like it was like in the ground.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was nailed down. But I wanted to move the table to the middle, and then I was gonna put the tripod with us in the middle, and that would have been great. But I feel like the shot is still, it still looks amazing.
It does. And it just feels so real. Like
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, because I know when you're there you're like, oh, the framing would have been nice. But like I always think feeling over framing. Always.
Yes,
Right?
100%.
So it's like, yeah, if you don't get the framing, it's like, do you still capture what this is supposed to feel like?
Yeah.
To seduce someone. If two strangers
So these shots, did you know, like any type of lighthouse tower, I'm like, we have to shoot this shot low angle.
Yeah.
Was that the thought process?
Yeah. So that was intentional too. That there's this video that I posted a little ago of me and one of my good friends just talking, and then there's an airplane
Coming
coming.
between the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shot, like from below looking to the, like tilting up, I love that shot. And I wanted kind of like to recreate that, but I wanted to have something in the middle. And then I had the Seoul Tower. So I was like, okay, let's just get that shot. But then when we went to Busan and then I saw the lighthouse, I was like, wait, this could actually be a nice match cut to just have us on the same position. And I'm always on the right side. She's always on the left side. just us just looking at the lighthouse or whatever we have, and then talking, just making it more of a personal moment. And then this could be a great match cut. But
Mm.
definitely I had that in mind.
And their clothes accidentally.
These shots, I think my
Mhm.
favorite shots. These actually felt like, okay, a lot of planning. You stand on the other side of the street,
Yeah.
over the shoulder.
Uh-huh.
You know, we give each other this look. Like, is that the process between you and your wife?
Yeah.
Like,
So
babe, we have to act a little bit like we don't know each other. Because this is
yeah.
the feeling I get.
So this is I gotta say, and I have to give the mention to Past Life. This scene, I recreated it from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually them on the street, but of course they're like farther away, because of course there's somebody operating the camera. They're like farther away, and then a lot of cars passing in front of them. I try to recreate the same shot. I had this in mind too. So I, from since the beginning of the trip, I was looking for a street that wasn't too crowded, but that had cars passing in front of it, so we could actually do that shot. And I brought my zoom lens, because for that one I used a 50 to 400, which I think I only used it for that shot and for two other more,
Wow.
literally. But I had that shot in mind, so I had to bring it. I basically just set up the camera for her, and then I tell her, okay, I'm gonna go across the street, and then I'm gonna look at you. We just encounter each other on the street, and then we're gonna cross, and then that's when we meet in the middle. That's basically the shot from the movie. So that's what we recreated. This was actually at before leaving Busan at like 6 a.m. That's why there's no people. I made her get up earlier and get makeup on because of this shot.
Shout out to your wife for being able to do this.
Yeah, no, she's very
What a
patient.
partner, bro. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
she's very patient. I love her so much. Like, she sometimes she's like, "Hey, when are you gonna stop filming? Because I film so much that
Yeah.
we're supposed to be on vacation, you know." And I understand that, but she supports me 100%. That's in Sunrise.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
that's
like
why
the
there's no
lighting
camera.
is perfect too. Like
Yeah,
it's just the mood of it.
yeah.
It feels so good. Like just how it's like hitting your face and even
Yeah.
in the back. For these shots, manual focus, autofocus.
So for that one, out of focus.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, because it had to. Yeah, so the good thing about the for that one, I
FX.
had the A7C2. The good thing about that camera is the eye recognition, and since it was just a shot of the
You
like a portrait shot,
yeah.
it was gonna be easy just to track the eye. It was a mission, but it turned out great.
Dude, this is my favorite shot, I think.
Good.
You've it's
You're the first person to tell me that, so thank you.
really, dude,
Yeah.
I love it. For that shot. C stand on
Yeah.
top. And
Yeah.
do you have another person who's and you had to be like, hey, I just need this shot. I got the shot. Can you just, swing it? And like, yeah, where did you get that from?
Yes, I use the C stand, and you also need a sister-in-law.
Yeah, okay. So make sure you
Yeah.
have a
So that shot, I have to give the mention to Gox. Have you seen his channel?
yeah, I love
Gox?
Gox.
So he does a lot of stuff, overhead stuff, a lot of movement, like panning and all of that. So I got the idea from watching his videos. Like, what if we do a shot here, and then it just the 360, the not the actual movement of the grip of the
Yeah,
system.
yeah.
So just rotating it, and then the ending shot, we have to move the couch to where the camera was gonna end, literally exactly where it looked weird, but on the shot it looked great because it was literally next to each other. We had to put the turntable way closer to the,
To the table where you guys are doing the Lego.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
because
where I was sitting. Yeah.
yeah.
And then we had to cover the C-stand legs with a plant, and then all of that. And then we tried the shot a few times. It was just me like putting it on the CD on the turntable. I'm sorry, the vinyl on the turntable, and then just going in there and then sitting down. That shot took us like 6 or 7 takes, because it was either me that was too fast, or the C-stand, it would get stuck, and then you would see
The
the actual,
jitters. It like
yeah,
it
the
jumps,
jitters.
right? Was there a sandbag on the other side? Like
Yeah.
wing,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, to help us move to help it be more
Smooth.
smoother.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a lot of times. But then when that shot first came out, oh, I say, and we also used the lamp to have something like kind of like in the foreground.
That's what exactly what I was gonna ask. I was like, the CSUN had to be high. That's why it was interesting. There was so much elements about it. The movement
Yeah.
is cool, and it would have looked cool without it. But because you guys were above the lamp, that it
Yeah.
had this arc. I was like, that's a great
So
shot.
that lamp is actually not there. I just put it there so I could have something like in the foreground. And I had the camera on 35 millimeters. I didn't want it wide because then if I had it on 35, then
The
it would
legs.
have kind of like that the background is moving, the like that kind of like a parallel
Yeah. Or the
parallel
parallax effect, like
yeah,
it's
kind of like that parallax because
yeah.
of the 35. And so it was way high up on the ceiling for the 35, so everything could fit on the frame. And
Yeah.
the 35, or was it a 50? I think it was a 50 that helped, because if it would have been a 16, it wouldn't have looked.
Yeah, and the 16 kind of like, I feel like the edges are it's closer to fisheye, so the edges look a little warped. So when you
Yeah.
move a little bit, it has a bit of distortion. That plane. That's all I really want to talk about. There's like a plane that slightly goes in and out the clouds.
Yeah.
What is the thought process there? Is that one? I was like looking, I was like, is this real? Then I was like, is it real? And then thinking, if it is, were you sitting there hanging out? Do you see the clouds? You see maybe if the first plane goes by and you're like, wait, that looked cool. Let me
Yeah.
just stay here for a while until another one.
So in Miami, that specific part, you can catch every plane every like 10, maybe 15 minutes. So I saw one, and it wasn't as cloudy when I saw it. I want to get a shot of that plane, or of the next one. And they usually go a little higher, a little lower. So I just had it like a little wider, and I set up the camera. I'm waiting for the plane, and it starts getting more cloudy. And then when the plane is passing by, it disappears. And I'm like, what just happened? I just got that on camera. That was my excitement. That wasn't 100% planned. I was like just waiting. I wanted to get a shot of the airplane, and when I saw the first one, I was waiting for the second one, but then disappearing in the clouds. I don't know if this one was a little farther or what, but when I saw that shot, I was like, I got that, and that was because I waited for that shot. That's the good thing about being patient and then waiting for that better shot.
Where it disappears is almost like right where these trees.
Uh-huh.
And it was like even like this shot, like the framing, the way that you have this coming from the top right, like the leaves. I was like, man, it's so good. And I know you probably shot wider and cropped it in, but even that selection of cropping it in and then reframing it is like art too. Like you still got to do a lot to it.
Yeah, you got to do a little bit of post. So I planned the tree in the foreground and then waiting for the plane, but then the clouds.
The clouds is the thing that was just like, that was a cherry on top where you're like,
Yeah, that was
fuck,
the
I
cherry
got
on
it. Damn. Okay. Just gonna watch this intro part.
Oh, nice.
So music is very important to like, videos, but movement as well. That part, you close it on beat and there's another beat, you look away, right? I felt like it was intentional. When you're going through that and you're listening to music and then you see those actions, are you matching the beat of your actions, one close, one and then look away, to what the song is?
So most of the time, when I realize that I have either, I don't know, like a door closing, like a boom, or maybe like the book or me stepping on something, and then I'm able to match that. I definitely do it on purpose. Sometimes I realize it and I'm able to do it while I'm editing it. Sometimes I realize it after and I'm like, oh, I could have done that. I don't remember specifically for this one. Maybe I did it on purpose.
Yeah. So okay, framing super important. I love this. How steep is this hill actually? because I feel like it's not that steep, but like the perspective, and this
Yeah.
is like just like those basic things where it's like perspective, tilting your tripod, the camera, or maybe doing it in post changes the way things look and the way it feels. This looks great, I think. But I can only imagine that it was more leveled.
No, it's actually as steep as
Oh,
as
it
it is in
is.
there. It's like an artificial hill
Oh,
in Miami Beach. So it's perfect. You know, like it
in
goes
terms
up
of
and then
the steepness.
yeah,
Oh,
the steep is
interesting.
perfect because it is actually artificial. What you wouldn't expect is that the following shot was not shot at that spot. That one.
Oh, this
That's
whole
a
sequence where you're reading
yeah.
the book.
If you notice, the grass is different on this one than on the previous one. This
Hmm.
is actually like very thin, low cut grass,
This one is a little bit.
and then
Oh
this one
yeah,
is
because
just
of size, you could see
uh-huh,
the strands of the grass being
uh-huh.
almost like 2 inches above.
This one is literally right by my house.
Wow,
This and then the following one was on a flat surface too.
you had to have put the camera
Uh-huh.
as an overhead,
Yeah.
so on an angle of this thing. So with these, are you writing the treatment? You know what the shots are looking like, and
Yeah, so
then
I had an idea of what I wanted. For instance, for the one in the car, I knew that I wanted to go to the Everglades, which is this place in near my place where there's swamps and alligators and all of that. I knew I wanted to go there because I wanted a lot of green and it was basically empty. So I wanted to get the sunrise and then get a couple of shots with whatever I encountered then. And then I also knew that I wanted to go to that little hill to do some maybe like some reading, some b-roll. I had an idea. I didn't know specifically the how the shot was gonna look. I usually just wait to get to the place and then I can start like imagining stuff and brainstorming because sometimes I write something down and then when I get to the place it's under construction or something like that and I hate that.
yeah,
So now I've been like, okay, I have this idea. This is the shot that I would like. Let me just go there to this specific location and then I'll see what I can get. From this one, it was so steep, I couldn't get the tripod high enough for me to do that shot. And since that one wasn't sunrise, it was already getting too harsh, the light.
yeah.
So I had to reshoot that the close up of the book and then me reading it. I reshot that during sunset near my place.
Wow.
If you notice, the grass is a lot darker on
Yeah,
that shot,
yeah.
but it's so quick that you don't really realize that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think it's also like when the shot's so good or the storytelling's so good, like you kind of just get lost in it. Like with
Yeah,
movies or film. Like I look at films and movies, but if I'm watching something, I'm not like, hey, that looks like it's from another
yeah,
side, you know? Yeah, right.
that's from another day or something like. Yeah, you're not gonna think of that. I try to match like just me laying down and then getting up, so I
Yeah.
could match it with that wider shot. The cooler, I also if you see the action, it's me drinking it and then I put it on the grass and then I grab the book. I also match that look,
Oh yeah.
so you
Yeah.
have like more
It's more things to connect the viewer
exactly.
to.
Yeah,
Because then if
more
you didn't put it down, that's a perfect example. Like I didn't think about that. But now that you mentioned it, I'm like, no, that's a great
yeah, just putting the
creative
bottle
idea.
down and then grabbing the book. Same, like I did it as similar as possible. I started how I shot this and then I made it as similar as possible so I can then match it and then no one could tell the difference. And
No.
as of today, you're the first person to
Yes.
know.
Yes. I think this is what's gonna help people that it's okay to do that. Like to
Yeah,
get if you don't get it, if the lighting gets too
yeah,
crazy,
it happens.
yeah, all the time, especially when you're shooting natural light. It's like
Yeah,
it's tough.
natural light and you're filming yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's not if you're filming someone, then you're gonna get it way faster.
Yeah.
But
So
filming yourself
it's tough. It's
yeah.
tough, man. I appreciate you taking the time, dude. All right, I
For
appreciate
sure,
it,
bro.
man.
Thanks again, man.